Welcome back to our first episode of 2016 for County Connections. I'm your host, Scott Vargo, Dan, Thomas, and Karn, your county commissioners. So we're doing something different this year. I don't know if it will be a trend or not. We're trying to do shorter but more segments. And so I think we're still doing longer but more segments so far. So we're going to see how we do this one. Dan, let's start off with you. We had 2 years of successful chipping program within the county. Talk about sort of the latest that's going on with that program.
Yeah. The program has been around for the last 2 years. The first year we had about 3,900 homes participated, and last year we had about 4,200. And it was really made possible in part by a state grant that we received from the Colorado Department of Natural Resources that we were able to match with local money from our fuels mitigation funds that we have that has been county supported. And unfortunately, due to budget constraints at the state capitol, the governor's budget proposal for this 2016 did not include reauthorization of this grant program. And over the last few years, we've received over close to $200,000. And so they are planning on zeroing out this particular grant program, but still using the money that's currently in place, because originally it was about $9 million that they had. And so hopefully we'll be a recipient of the grant come this summer. So I'm very hopeful that our chipping program will continue, but the three of us have weighed into the governor's office and the joint budget committee to really stress the importance of really putting the resources on the front end. And we've seen Summit County is a perfect example of a community really trying to turn a negative into a positive, with the amount of beetle kill activity and just kind of dead trees that we've had in general, to create a safer environment for those all of us that live within the wildland urban interface. So I'm hopeful and optimistic that we'll be able to have some money restored, and we're fighting for our community to try to continue those funds, because we've benefited. I know Boulder County has, I know Eagle County has, so it's really impacted a lot of people in the state of Colorado. So stay tuned, but we've weighed in to try to have those funds renewed.
Right, that's great, and you guys certainly have a lot of relationships with folks down at the Capitol, and so that comes in handy when we have situations like this. So keep it up. All right, so move on to open space acquisitions. Who wants to start that one off, Thomas or Karn?
Well, every year we're excited to go through a process of acquiring more open space. And I wanted to give context to that with our beautiful background here. We have about 80% of Summit County in national forest land, but we had development and all the mining going on here in Summit County before there was a national forest system. So the national forest was placed on top of all those mining claims and private parcels. So we do have a unique problem here, and one of our biggest efforts is to get those parcels that are checkerboard pieces within the national forest system so that there can be better contiguous management of all the lands. So that's always a big focus. And then we also focus on wetlands, because again, in the 1800s, there was a lot of damage to wetlands and no appreciation. So we're kind of making up for what happened in the 1800s up until about the 1960s, when we figured out what we were doing wrong. So we have some great successes every year, and over all the time period that the Open Space Fund has been in place, we've acquired about 14,000 acres total. And just this last year, I believe it was 90 acres. But it's not just the acres, it's really the quality. And we have an Open Space Advisory Council that deserve so much credit for all the work that they do every year to keep their eyes out in each part of the county for where these prime parcels are at very good prices.
Yeah, and great partnerships with particularly the town of Breckenridge, because the town of Breckenridge has an open space fund as well. So we've done some great partnerships there. But yeah, it's an ongoing effort for a number of different reasons, just good land management, wildlife corridor protection, water quality protection via the wetlands. So a number of different really important reasons that that open space program is so important to us. as well as all of the good work that department does for us with regards to trails and the development of our trail system. So good work, open space and trails.
Great. All right, we're on time for this segment, so we're going to take a quick break.